In Hadley, Massachusetts, at the South Hadley border, and there's a cemetery here called the Hockanum Cemetery. It's in the neighborhood of the Hockanum, and it happens to be a cemetery that started in the very late 1700s and grew up from there. So what I'm going to do is take the camera and walk around from a few stones, but I'm going to tell you one thing to start. And back there were found Native American burials about 1902. And 8 burials were found, 7 were in Hadley, 1 was in South Hadley. South Hadley is only about 20 feet away. And so that's part of the lore of this cemetery, that at one time it might have been a Native American burial for many more than that. All right, so this is one of I think 7 burial grounds in Hadley. And this is the second oldest, and it started as a family cemetery and then turned into a neighborhood cemetery. A lot of the Lyman family is here. Alright, so I'm going to take it now. Now, as you might know, one of the features of modern day Hockanum and Hadley is the Barstow family has opened up a restaurant for itself. And here's a member of the Barstow family, Hannah Barstow and Luther Barstow, Elizabeth, Olive, Hannah, Septimus, right, and Susan. So that's one of the many families around, but it's the first one you meet to the far left. And then you do meet a lot of Lyman family, and this is the start of the Lyman plots. There's an Aziel Lyman back there, Amaziel Lyman. All right, this is the Lyman plot we're going through, Enos Lyman. And it might have started out as a family cemetery for the Lyman family that was very much in this part of the deep south of Hadley. And remember, Hadley's a pioneer town, started around the 1660s, right? And it wasn't settled to this part until the late 1700s. South Hadley was not settled to 1720s. And they would have used the old Hadley Cemetery for a long time as their burial location. Okay, so if it's that old, there should be some brownstones around, and there are. Sacred to the memory of Mrs. Elizabeth, wife of Mr. Isaac Johnson, who died in 1806. And this is Isaac Johnson himself, 1808. So there's some brownstones around. Okay, and this, the Johnson family. Now as you go towards the back, you got a few small ones. And most of the stones are pointing towards the east, which is incorrect. They should have been pointing until 1860 towards the west. So a lot of the old ones have been turned around. Some of the old footstones are still around, so we do have some footstones down here, which is a good sign. All right, so we come to the back here, and it says, in memory of Major Lamuel Hyde, who was drowned January 24th, 1800, in the 45th year of his life. Major Hyde belonged to West Haven in the state of Vermont. Okay, the very interesting one, and he probably fought in the Revolutionary War. Yep, there's a Revolutionary War insignia on the bottom. Now, his footstone is probably the one right here. It's very worn out. So the footstone probably points in the right direction. The body would be between, and the headstone would have been here, but it would have been facing 180 degrees around. So someone switched them to face the road. Probably in the 1800s, 1890s, they switched them. Right? Once in a while, you have pegs to mark off a grave which has no headstone at all. Okay, and here's many more members of the Lyman family and Johnson family. So you do see names over and over again inside this old cemetery. Okay, and as I walk towards the north, there's getting more and more modern burials. And so the old part was definitely towards the south, along its left edge. It has these new granite pillars on the outside to protect the cemetery. And as I walk further in, you get deeper into either the late 1800s or early 1900s. And then the absolute modern part back here, where you have the burials from the year 2000s. And it grows and grows. It might keep growing as you get more burials back here. Okay, and I'll walk back along the front instead of the back. And what you see around this area, this is a cemetery right on the edge of a mountain chain. The Mount Tom range is right there, and the Mount Holyoke range is behind me, going up behind those trees. South Hadley is right over there. The rest of Hadley is definitely all in this direction on Route 47. Right? So, this might be an old burial site, but most of the burials are late 1800s into the early 1900s. And in the 1800s, you got a lot of these marble slab tablets form of gravestones. These are 1840s. There's a slight one there. The one behind is 1831. They would have had at one time always a footstone, and most of those seem to be gone. Okay, and I'll visit one more section, and that'll be the very old Lyman section back here. This is Captain John Lyman. He died 1785, and 90 years old. And then next to him, his wife Mahitabo Lyman. All right, so a lot of very old Lymans back here with one old brown stone that's become hard to read. Now you notice some of the footstones are back here still. So things have been switched around just like most cemeteries. But still, it's a very interesting place to visit. So I hope that you visit at some point. And you can hear the train in the distance. Thank you very much.